Narrated by Hudayfa. Once the Prophet went to the dumps of some people and passed urine while standing. He then asked for water, and so I brought it to him and he performed ablution. Narrated by Hudayfa. The Prophet and I walked till we reached the dumps of some people. He stood, as any one of you stands, behind a wall and urinated. I went away, but he beckoned me to come. So I approached him and stood near his back till he finished. Narrated by Abu Wail. Abu Musa al-Ash'ari used to lay great stress on the question of urination, and he used to say, if anyone from Bani Israel happened to soil his clothes with urine, he used to cut that portion away. Hearing that, Hudayfa said to Abu Wail, I wish he, Abu Musa, didn't lay great stress on that matter. Hudayfa added, Allah's Messenger went to the dumps of some people and urinated while standing. Narrated by Asma. A woman came to the Prophet and said, if any one of us gets menses in her clothes, then what should she do? He replied, she should take hold of the soiled place, rub it and put it in the water and rub it in order to remove the traces of blood, and then pour water over it. Then she can pray in it. Narrated by Aisha. Fatima bint Abi Hubaysh came to the Prophet and said, O Allah's Messenger, I get persistent bleeding from the uterus and do not become clean. Shall I give up my prayers? Allah's Messenger replied, no, because it is from a blood vessel and not the menses. So when your real menses begins, give up your prayers, and when it has finished, wash off the blood, take a bath, and offer your prayers. Hisham, the sub-narrator, narrated that his father had also said, the Prophet told her, perform ablution for every prayer till the time of the next period comes. Narrated by Aisha. I used to wash the traces of janaba, semen, from the clothes of the Prophet, and he used to go for prayers while traces of water were still on it, water spots were still visible. Narrated by Sulaiman bin Yashar. I asked Aisha about the clothes soiled with semen. She replied, I used to wash it off the clothes of Allah's Messenger, and he would go for the prayer while water spots were still visible. Narrated by Amr bin Maimun. I heard Sulaiman bin Yashar talking about the clothes soiled with semen. He said that Aisha had said, I used to wash it off the clothes of Allah's Messenger, and he would go for the prayers while water spots were still visible on them. Narrated by Aisha. I used to wash the semen off the clothes of the Prophet, and even then I used to notice one or more spots on them. Narrated by Abu Kalaba. Anas said, some people of Uqal or Urina tribe came to Medina, and its climate did not suit them. So the Prophet ordered them to go to the herd of milch camels and to drink their milk and urine as a medicine. So they went as directed, and after they became healthy, they killed the shepherd of the Prophet and drove away all the camels. The news reached the Prophet early in the morning, and he sent men in their pursuit, and they were captured and brought at noon. He then ordered to cut their hands and feet, and it was done, and their eyes were branded with heated pieces of iron. They were put in al-Hara, and when they asked for water, no water was given to them. Abu Kalaba said, those people committed theft and murder, became infidels after embracing Islam, and fought against Allah and His Apostle. Narrated by Anas. Prior to the construction of the mosque, the Prophet offered the prayers at sheepfolds. Narrated by Maymunah. Allah's Messenger was asked regarding ghee, cooking butter, in which a mouse had fallen. He said, take out the mouse and throw away the ghee around it and use the rest. Narrated by Maymunah. The Prophet was asked regarding ghee in which a mouse had fallen. He said, take out the mouse and throw away the ghee around it, and use the rest. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. The Prophet said, a wound which a Muslim receives in Allah's cause will appear on the day of resurrection as it was at the time of infliction. Blood will be flowing from the wound, and its color will be that of the blood but will smell like musk. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. Allah's Messenger said, we, Muslims, are the last people to come in the world, but will be the foremost on the day of resurrection. The same narrator said that the Prophet had said, you should not pass urine in stagnant water which is not flowing, then you may need to wash in it. Narrated by Abdullah. While Allah's Messenger was prostrating, as stated below. Narrated by Abdullah bin Masud. Once the Prophet was offering prayers at the Kaaba. Abu Jahl was sitting with some of his companions. One of them said to the others, Who amongst you will bring the abdominal contents, intestines, etc., of a camel of Bani so-and-so and put it on the back of Muhammad, when he prostrates? The most unfortunate of them got up and brought it. He waited till the Prophet prostrated and then placed it on his back between his shoulders. I was watching but could not do anything. I wish I had some people with me to hold out against them. They started laughing and falling on one another. Allah's Messenger was in prostration and he did not lift his head up till Fatima, Prophet's daughter, came and threw that camel's abdominal contents away from his back. He raised his head and said thrice, O Allah! Punish Quraysh. So it was hard for Abu Jahl and his companions when the Prophet invoked Allah against them, as they had a conviction that the prayers and invocations were accepted in this city, Mecca. The Prophet said, O Allah! Punish Abu Jahl, Uqba bin Rabia, Shayba bin Rabia, Al-Walid bin Uqba, Umayyah bin Khalaf, and Uqba bin al-Mu'at. And he mentioned the seventh whose name I cannot recall. By Allah in whose hands my life is, I saw the dead bodies of those persons who were counted by Allah's Messenger, in the Kalib, one of the wells, of Badr.